Today I have an update on a story of a broker who broke the fundamental rule, the number one rule of being a broker. I brought you this story originally in December of 2020. Let's take a look at Boston.com. Okay, so here we go. Real estate broker admits to stealing $1.8 million from buyers. This was in Quincy. Michael P. Flavin, 39 of Quincy, cashed more than 60 deposit checks over a 3-year period, and he's now been sentenced as of yesterday to 2.5 years in prison. Let's grab the calculator now. $1.8 million divided by 30, because that's how many months that is, right? Divided by 30. That's $60,000 a month. So I know this guy is completely broken in so many different ways. But there are some people who would go to jail. Hey, you want to pay me $60,000? I'll go to jail for a month. So maybe in this case, the crime does pay, sadly. I think this sentence is not steep enough. And the whole restitution thing has not yet been decided, probably because he doesn't have the money anyways. He probably spent the money. It's probably gone. Or it could be hidden in some place, who knows? But 2.5 months, 2.5 years, I should say, I think is way too low for this type of crime. Flavin executed purchase and sales agreements and received deposits on or behalf of potential buyers, even though the owners of the properties had not yet agreed to sell those properties or to those particular buyers. So he was collecting deposit checks for properties that really weren't for sale. It's kind of like the oldest scam in the book. It's really not super sophisticated. He was probably, doing kind of like a Ponzi scheme. When someone got frustrated, he would finally refund their deposit. But it must have took a really long time for this to be discovered. Which reminds me of my advice that I gave 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago when I made this video. And that advice was, if you have backed out of a transaction, like because you didn't like the home inspection, you completed the release of funds form, which is pretty simple. It's like a one-page, one-paragraph thing. You should be able to get your deposit back in the next, 2 or 3 business days. That would be reasonable. Now, there are some things that are, might extend that. For instance, the broker. Only the broker can sign a check out of the escrow account. And if the broker, got in a car accident, or they're in Wyoming on vacation or something, there could be some reasonable delay. But that shouldn't really drag on for more than a reasonable amount of time. You should definitely get your deposit back, as long as there's no extenuating circumstances, in 2 or 3 days. Or if there's some reasonable thing, like they're stuck in Miami and can't fly home because of the hurricane, that would be reasonable. But aside from that, you should get it back really quickly. And if you don't, you should immediately talk to your agent and talk to your broker on the buy side. They should go to bat for you, so to speak. Call up the other broker and say, where is that deposit? And if you don't want to give back the deposit, then you should most certainly, if it's been 2 or 3 weeks and you don't have this thing, you should absolutely file a complaint with the Board of Registration and or the law enforcement. So be reasonable. Always, try to get, say, hey, what's going on here? It could be just a honest, respectable delay. The flight's been canceled, whatever. But after a while, you have to get suspicious and stand up for yourself. And your buyer agent and your buyer broker should help you do that.